Hello, everyone. My name is William Ripley. First and foremost, I wanted to welcome you and thank you so much for being here today. Before we get started, I wanted to do a quick sound and audio check to make sure you could hear me. So if you could, please type in the question box and let me know, yes, I could hear you, but then also your name and what part of the country you're from. I have friends from all over the United States with us on the call today. So before we get started, I wanted to make sure that the audio is doing perfectly. It looks like you can't hear me. I got Ben says yes from Utah. Gene says yes, I can hear you from Alexander, Virginia. It looks like we have Ronald Worse from Manteca, California. Renee Johnson says yes, I could hear you. So it looks like you can hear me, which is the goal I wanted to accomplish. So before we go any further, I wanted to do some quick housekeeping notes so that you can get the best out of this webinar. You see, not only did you register for this webinar, but you blocked off your calendar and you made it here on time and even early, which shows an extreme dedication to your success. So please do yourself a favor, shut out of all distractions. If you're at the office, close the door, tell people not to bother you, and take lots of notes. But above anything else, be sure to take action. The best laid plans are useless unless action is placed behind them. So before I tell you about our special guest, Mr. Frank Patrick today, who's going to teach you everything you need to know about how to get HUD REO listings right now in 2015 for your real estate business, I also wanted to tell you that I hold your time in the highest esteem of respect. So what I have planned for you today is going to be a very content-rich, action-packed webinar, and I'm going to guarantee you up front that you're going to have a great time. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about our special guest, Mr. Frank Patrick, today. Frank has been in the REO business for over 14 years. He has worked with REO asset management companies like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, City Mortgage, and dozens of others you would recognize. In 2007, when Frank's production began to grow, he had over 250 REO properties in inventory. And since he didn't have the time to share the information with his colleagues, he created an REO training home study course. Since that has been created, he has gone on to help hundreds of REO agents and brokers all throughout the United States create REO empires, if you will, some selling in excess of 300 transactions a year. And what he has working right now is something that is unprecedented for the real estate market with what is going on with HUD REO properties. Frank is considered to be the expert at generating HUD REO listings, and he's going to share with us exactly how to do that today live on this webinar. Frank, are you here with us?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Please talk as loud as possible. With that, I'm going to pass it over to you, and I think that we should get this live training started.
All right, very good. Thank you, William. Well, as William mentioned, I've been an REO broker since 2000. My office is located in a small suburb just east of Kansas City, about 18 miles. We're an independent office. At one point in time, was a realty executive's office, later an exit realty office, and now for the last 5 years we've been completely independent. Believe it or not, it hasn't made any difference one way or the other on our business, whether or not we were affiliated with a large firm or now that we're independent, because I truly believe that real estate is a local and a personal business, and people hire you, not your company. But as William said, primarily I list and sell REO properties. I have a team. The team is my administrative assistant, Linda, and my brother, Scott. That's it, 3 of us. At the height of the market back in 2008, we closed right around 260 transactions. Slowed down a bit, and thank goodness, we cruise right along around 8 to 9 transactions a month now, which is really comfortable for me because I'm in the process of moving to Arizona to live full-time where there's no winter, and I'll be starting my business from scratch there. So I'm here today to talk to you about the REO opportunity. There's a big misconception about listing REOs. First of all, a lot of folks feel that because there is very little available inventory, there is very little opportunity, and that's the opposite. What you're seeing is that inventory that's released is snatched up quickly. And so you really need to look at the number of sales and not the number of available listings, right? It doesn't matter how many cans are on the shelf. It matters how many cans are being sold each month. There's a tremendous volume of REO inventory being sold right now. It's still double what would be considered a normal market, still double. There's also a misconception that there's very little opportunity for people trying to break in, and of course, it's not as easy as it was in 2007 when foreclosures were exploding. But there are companies that are accepting applications. There is competition for inventory. Once again, you have to know where to go, which companies to go to. Some of the bigger companies that we did business with in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, some of them have been laying off agents. Some of them have closed their doors. But there are other companies that are thriving right now, and they're actually hiring agents to list and sell their REO properties. So that's what today is about, is identifying where to go, what part of the market is hot, and how to get your share of those listings. Now, you don't need experience to get REO listings. You don't need to do thousands of BPOs to get REO listings. And of course, REO is not going away. We're still at double the volume. Today, we're going to talk about how to get HUD REO listings because, in my opinion, this is the very best opportunity in real estate today. Many agents feel that HUD homes are in poor condition and are low priced, and therefore they're not interested in listing them. Well, this couldn't be any further from the truth today, because depending on the county where you do business, FHA mortgages have been available for loan sizes all the way up to $2,105,100. And single-family loan limits for the last few years have been a low of $271,500, and that's what it is where I do business, to a high of $729,000. So there are some very expensive HUD homes on the market today. They're not necessarily the low-price listings. This is a screenshot. I just went on HUD's website, shows all their listings, and captured the screen capture to show you some of these properties: 750,000, 749,000, 647. You can see not all HUD homes are $30,000 pieces of junk. There's some very, very nice properties out there that sell for what I would consider the upper end of the market and pay huge commissions. In fact, we've got an example on this next screen. One of my past students recently sold this property. This was a HUD REO listing, and they listed it and sold it for $810,000. Now, I don't know, how good you are at math, but I've got a calculator in front of me here. $810,000 times 3%. They didn't double end it, so they just represented the seller. Commission on that, $24,300. Now, I don't know about you, but where I come from, that's a good month. And that's just one HUD property. And so the buyer's agent, of course, got an equivalent amount. But my student made $24,300 on that one. What I want to show you is a chart. And, the important thing to note here is when you look at the left side of the screen, you'll see underneath it shows 2005. This shows a normal real estate market. And red is properties that are in the foreclosure process. Yellow, 90 days delinquent. Blue, 60 days delinquent. Purple, 30 days delinquent. When you look at follow the chart, 2005, 2006, we're running along about 5% of all inventory is in some stage of foreclosure. You can see in 2007 to 2010, it goes straight up to 14.5%. 15% of all inventory. So 3 times the normal number of foreclosures were happening at the height of the foreclosure market in 2010. Now you can see it starts to go the other way. It starts to go down. So in 2011 it dropped, 2012 it dropped, 2013 dropped, and 2014 it dropped. But we're still at double the number of foreclosures that we should have, double the number in a normal market. While the press is focused on the fact that we've dropped from 14% to 10%, I want you to look at the fact that 10% is still double the normal number of foreclosures in a healthy real estate market. So we've got a long ways to go to get these out of the system, which means a lot of work and a lot of REO listings for people that know where to go to get them. This just shows inventory type. Now, once again, we don't have all the data for 2014 yet because we're only a couple weeks into 2015. But red shows 2013 foreclosure inventory. So you can see there's still a tremendous number of properties in the pipeline. Now, this is the shadow inventory. Only important thing to look at is the red area. These are properties that are in foreclosure. They're being foreclosed on. And so when you look back at 2005, you can see what a healthy market is, and you can see 2013 and 2014 what our market is like right now. You can see we have a long ways to go before the foreclosure crisis is over. Now, we're here today to talk about HUD REO listings and how to get them. A HUD REO listing is a former FHA loan. It's one gone bad. I take you back to 2005 on the left side of this chart. If you look at the very bottom, the little area in green, 5%, that's the number of all mortgages originated. 5% were FHA. Same in 2006, 5%. 2007, when foreclosures went up and the housing market was going in the toilet, the government stepped in and said, hey, we got to crank this up. Let's stay on this for a minute. You see 2008, FHA mortgages became 26%, 5 times the number. Then 2009, 30% of all mortgages originated were FHA loans. When an FHA loan defaults, the lender forecloses, conveys it back to HUD, it becomes an REO listing. So right now we have 5 to 6 times the number of FHA mortgages being originated than we ever have in the past. This means 5 to 6 times the number of HUD REO listings. Let's go to the next screen. So FHA loans, more FHA loans means more HUD REO listings. This is the latest from Black Knight. They're a large housing analyst, real estate market analyst. Show the number of properties that are delinquent in foreclosure. Skip right to the bottom. In 2014, we still have 3.7 million properties in some stage of the foreclosure process. 3.7 million. I don't know how many listings you need, but there's plenty to go around. Next, please. See, how do you get them, right? HUD REO listings are the hottest properties on the market today. They're the best inventory to get, and I'm going to show you why. The FHA insured about 1.4 million mortgages in 2013. We don't have the numbers yet for 2014, but we suspect they're pretty close. About 728,000 were seriously delinquent. That was a 19% increase. HUD conveyed approximately 140,000 REOs in 2013. That means they sold 140,000 REOs in 2013, making them the largest seller of real estate in the United States. Largest. HUD has more properties and sold more properties than any other seller, period. Bigger than Fannie Mae, bigger than Freddie Mac, bigger than any bank, lender, or asset management company. And all of them were listed by local licensed real estate agents just like you. I can help you get your share of the HUD REO listings. It's simple, but it's not easy. You're going to want to take some notes, follow the instructions, take immediate action, and tell no one. Since 1999, HUD has been outsourcing the sale of their properties through what's called the M&M contracting process. Next slide, please. What's important to note is until 2010, this opportunity was not available for everyone. It was only available for 1 or 2 brokers in each market. In 2010, everything changed. HUD separated management and repair of the properties from the sale of the properties. They awarded contracts to 26 companies to act as asset management companies and be the intermediary or the middleman. Those companies were required to list all of the properties in the United States with local licensed real estate agents. They're required to pay them a full listing commission, 3%. Can't charge them any fees, can't charge them a percentage, not a thing. And they made the opportunity available to any agent that knew about it. Problem is, not very many agents knew about it. And so very few people got in back in 2010. And when these contracts were given to these 26 companies, they were given for 5 years or a maximum number of properties. Well, what happened? HUD didn't do a real good job forecasting how many foreclosures they were going to have. Therefore, their contracts reached their cap only 2 years into a 5-year deal. And so immediately the government had to start rebidding. And, you know, with the government contracts, it's a huge process and it takes years. They began to rebid these contracts for the 26 companies. They began to rebid it and they opened it up to new companies. And some of those companies have to be certified small businesses. So this means we're getting all new contracts and many new HUD asset management companies. And anytime there's a new asset management company, they have to hire new agents, right? You don't have to wait until someone dies, moves away, gets fired, or loses their real estate license to get in. When a new company comes on board, gets a contract, that new company has to hire new agents. And so that's where we're at today. Next screen, please. And I'm trying to condense this. I know we're way late. So good news is this opportunity is available to every agent nationwide. Just have a valid real estate license and be, you know, have it active working under a broker. You no longer, as the listing agent, are responsible for any of the repairs, maintenance, utilities, not a nickel out of your pocket. The asset management companies and the independent agents that work for them are only responsible for the sale of the property now. So this is awesome news. Once again, they have field service management companies that take care of all of the management and the repairs. So just as a summary, in 2010, this new process began. 26 asset management companies were chosen to sell all of the HUD REOs nationwide. Each was given a geographic territory. They got a 1-year contract with 4 1-year renewals, so it should have lasted 5 years. Unfortunately, so many properties came through, the contracts reached their cap, had to be rebid. All the properties have to be listed with local agents. The listing commission is set at 3% for the listing agent. Now, the buyer's agent can negotiate theirs away if they like, but it's 3%. And the buyer's agents present all the offers online, so the listing agents don't even handle the incoming offers anymore. It's done online through HUD's website. It's easy work. Once again, it reached its cap only about 1.5 years in for many states. So HUD started a solicitation June of 2011 for a new set of contracts. Now, the government takes years to do things, and so we're to the point now where we feel in 2015 we'll have all new contracts for the entire United States completed, which means most likely several or many new asset management companies, many opportunities for agents to get their foot in the door. And this is known as M&M 3.7. Once again, the entire United States was rebid. So all 50 states and our territories has been rebid. We are just waiting for HUD to make the announcements. When the announcements are made, new asset management companies that win the contracts will have about 60 days to recruit agents, train them, and take over the inventory. I can't tell you exactly how long before a new contract will be awarded for your area, but I can tell you that all the contracts, all the proposals have been submitted, they've all been reviewed, and we are only waiting for HUD to announce the winners. And these will be independent asset management companies that are required to contract the listings with local real estate agents. Now this time around there's going to be some changes. There's only going to be one asset management company per state. All right, so an asset management company will win a state. The contract's going to be 1 year with 4 1-year renewals. The caps will be higher, so it's much less likely that it won't last 5 years. This time around, all the asset management companies have to be certified small business entities, so it's likely we're going to see some new companies that we've never heard of before. And those new companies will have to hire new agents. They're going to have a 60-day transition period. They got to recruit, train hundreds of listing agents all over a short period of time. Most real estate agents, just like 2010, will have no idea what happened. They're not going to know about the contract award until it's too late. And if they don't know about it, they're obviously not going to be prepared to apply. And even those that find out about it aren't necessarily going to know what the HUD asset management company is looking for. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. So now you know about the opportunity. Now I'm going to tell you how to get yourself prepared. You have to have some documentation. You have to be pre-registered. You have to have a resume and a marketing plan. And you have to be one of the first to find out and apply, right? You can't be asleep at the switch when this one comes through. If you do these things, there's a very high probability that you can get yourself accepted or approved and start receiving HUD REO listings. After that, of course, it's entirely up to your performance. So who can list HUD REO properties? Any licensed real estate agent. You just have to have an active real estate license anywhere in the United States or its territories. Doesn't matter if you work for a big or a small brokerage. Doesn't have to be a franchise. You can be an independent. You can be an agent or a broker. So this is not like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac where you have to be the designated broker. Once again, doesn't matter if you're franchise or independent. No experience is required by HUD. No specific training is required by HUD up front. So what are the qualifications? Go ahead and switch screens now. So what are the qualifications? You have to have an active real estate license, right? Active, that means you get the license, you place it under a broker, you're active, you can work. You have to have, the company has to have insurance. You have to have a NAID number, name, address, identification number. Anybody that does business with the government has to have a NAID number. And the NAID number is under the company name that you work for. So whoever has your license, that company applies for a NAID number. Then the company has to register with HUD Home Store. And then you as the agent register with HUD Home Store. This is HUD's property management portal. Of course, you have to have an MLS membership in the area where you're applying to list the HUD properties. So how are the listings distributed? Once again, when an FHA mortgage is foreclosed on by the lender conveys it back to HUD. HUD has split the United States up into 4 regional HUD homeownership centers. And then each of those homeownership centers has a certain number of asset management companies. There's 26 total. Each of those asset management companies has to hire real estate agents in the area. They contract out with real estate agents in the area where they sell properties. There are 9 steps to become a HUD REO listing agent. Most people only have to complete 6. First of all, the company that you work for has to obtain a NAID. Next screen. Name, address, identification number. You have to have that so you can do business with the government. It's a little bit confusing, but it's entirely possible. In fact, if anyone in your office has sold a HUD property this year as a buyer's agent, your company already has a NAID number. Next screen. Yeah, there's only one NAID number for the company. It's not every agent in your office. Everybody uses the same NAID number. Every time you make an offer on a HUD property, you have to use the NAID number. The managing broker has to register with HUD Home Store, and these steps have to be done in the correct sequence so that your broker will register with HUD Home Store. It's free. Once the broker sets up a profile, you register with HUD Home Store as the agent. You have to do this to even place an offer on a listed home property. Next, you want to prepare a resume and a marketing plan. And the resume needs to be REO specific because keep in mind, these asset management companies are going to get 500 or 1,000 resumes for a couple of hundred positions. And they're going to look through, and the first thing they do is throw away all the ones with a glamour shot picture on them. They throw all the ones that say, I'm going to sell your house fast and for top dollar, because this is not what the REO business is all about. And then they look for keywords. Okay, so does this individual know anything about REO? So looking for specific language. And that narrows it down to about 10% of the resumes. From there, they're going to look through it and see if you have any idea what you're going to be asked to be, the services that they're going to require. And they're going to look for your marketing plan. They want to see how are you going to market their properties. And this is very specific to HUD. I'm going to talk to you, tell you in a little bit how you can get a copy of my HUD resume and my marketing plan. This is the same one my coaching students have used and have been successful at getting started and getting approved to list and sell REO properties. Once you have that, you sit back and wait for the HUD Asset Management Company contract to be announced for your state. When it's announced, they'll have an online application. You'll fill out the online application. Once again, you got to have the NAID, you got to have the HUD Home Store account, you need a resume, REO resume, and a marketing plan. You'll upload all that information to the asset management company for your area. For most of you, that's it. That's all you'll have to do. Now, as I said, there could be 1,000 people apply. They're going to narrow it down to 10%. They're going to look through those resumes, and they're going to hire more than they need. Just like when a new restaurant opens, they always hire twice as many waiters and waitresses. They have their grand opening. They see who's a hustler, who works hard, who shows up on time, who gets their work done, and then they fire the other half. Works the same way in the REO business. They always hire twice as many people as they need, and they cut the screw-ups. So if you're not accepted in the first round, it's not the end, because HUD requires all of their contracted listing agents to agree to allow other agents to advertise their properties. But you have to get the agent's permission. So you just send the agent an email, copy the asset manager, and say, hey, I'd like to advertise this particular property this week in my local newspaper or this on my website, and I'll agree to comply with all of our MLS rules and regulations and HUD fair housing requirements. And they'll grant you permission to advertise the property. You advertise the property, you get buyers, you show the property, you hopefully write contracts on HUD properties, because HUD is the only asset management company, they're the only REO seller that lets the buyer's agent present the offer straight to the asset manager. So the buyer's agent, once they submit the offer, all the negotiations and everything, that all the correspondence until the closing of escrow is done directly between the buyer's agent and the asset manager. So this allows you to build a relationship with an asset manager as a buyer's agent. This is impossible with any other REO seller. HUD does it this way. And this is the back door in. So if you miss the initial round, you don't get say you're on a cruise, you don't hear about it, you get back from your 2-week cruise in the Caribbean and find out that they've already hired in your area, it's not over. You ask to advertise specific properties, you advertise them, build a relationship with the HUD REO asset manager in your area, and eventually you'll be shown how to go ahead and apply, because they have turnover, right? People quit, people get fired, people move away, people lose their license, right? And so there's constant turnover, and these companies are going to have these contracts for 5 years. Selling HUD properties is the #1 way to get your foot in the door. This is opposite of every other REO seller. This doesn't work with any other REO seller. This only works with HUD. If you sell HUD REO properties, you have a greater chance of getting in as a listing agent. In fact, this is one of the things you want to put on your resume. How many HUD properties have you shown in the last year? How many have you sold? This will help you. They know you're familiar with the process. Once again, it's the only REO seller that allows you to develop a relationship with the asset manager. And it's the only one where you have a chance to directly ask the asset manager if they can help you apply to become a HUD listing agent. Now, for most people, this won't be necessary. You'll simply apply as soon as a new contract is announced. That company will be hiring hundreds of people, and it's much easier to get in at that point. It's all about the timing. So once again, in summary, brokerage obtains a NAID, broker registers as HUD Home Store, agent registers as HUD Home Store, agent prepares a resume and a marketing plan, agent applies online with the new HUD Asset Management Company for your state. In the meantime, you can begin advertising HUD properties, sell HUD properties, try to develop a relationship with the asset manager, and ask to be considered as a HUD listing agent. A lot of steps, but there's nothing here that every real estate agent can't do. It's just that most don't know about the opportunity, or most are unwilling to do the 9 steps. And this is easier than baking brownies. I think there's more than 9 steps. It's a simple process. There are some things that you've got to get right. Right? The resume is a biggie. The marketing plan is a biggie. But it is a huge opportunity. HUD's the #1 seller of real estate in the United States. Becoming a HUD REO listing agent could change your life. Think about it. What if you received 1 new HUD listing a week? 1 52 sales. Would that change your life? You know, and I'm in the process of getting my broker license in Arizona, and where I'm at, well, where I'm going to be in Arizona once I get my broker's license, the average commission is $250,000. I'm not real good at math, but that's $7,500 a piece. Where I'm at in Missouri, the average transaction is around $100,000. That's $3,000. So even on the low side, $3,000 commission, one a week, $156,000 a year in incremental business. You only got to get hired once. This isn't like going on listing appointments where you have to go on 3 listing appointments a week to get one. This is 1 listing appointment, then you just do your job for 5 years. So for some of you, you may want to get my personal help. I know there's some wise folks on here that know that the easiest way to become successful at something is to find someone else who is already successful at what you would like to do, and then you simply model them. Well, I'm conducting a live HUD REO Listing Agent Bootcamp. This is a live webinar training. It's going to be on Friday between 9 and 11 a.m. Pacific. It's about an hour and a half. We reserve 30 minutes at the end for question and answers. We're limiting the class to 47 participants because this takes quite a bit of my time, and I'm a very busy real estate broker. We're limiting it to 47 participants. Everyone's going to get my personal email address. It's going to be step-by-step instructions. So I actually walk you through the process, finding out if your company has a NAID. If it does, how to get the NAID number. If it doesn't, how to fill out the forms, put them in front of your broker, get him to sign it so you can get the NAID. How to get the broker registered at HUD Home Store, how to get yourself registered with HUD Home Store, how to build your HUD REO resume. You get actually a copy of my HUD REO resume, and even more importantly, a copy of my marketing plan. So you can use, just basically edit my resume, edit my marketing plan. Then I'm going to give you access to my directory of all of the HUD REO asset management companies in existence, as well as instant notification as new contracts are awarded. Once again, the webinar is about an hour and a half. The last 30 minutes are reserved for question and answer. It is a live webinar training. You'll be able to interact with me throughout the training, as well as you will receive my personal email address so I can help you as you prepare your resume and your marketing plan. So once again, this training is next Friday. It's easy math. 1 HUD listing a month. So let's say you're semi-retired, like I'd like to be. 1 HUD listing a month. What would that do? What would that do for your production? What would that do for your life? $36,000 a year if you live in Missouri, and it's really probably the easiest listings. You guaranteed 3%. You don't spend a penny out of your pocket. You don't even have to present the offers to the seller; they're presented directly. I mean, it's easy, easy, easy. So if you'd like my help, we're holding a live training. Once again, I'm going to, just a second here, looks like we've got some of the screens mixed up. Oh, these are some emails I've received from some of my past students. Yeah, this guy even sent me a check. He made $22,375 for the month. That's always fun. Rubbed it in my face. That's more than I make on a house. I never make $10,000 on a sale. He lived in Long Island. That makes a difference. Let's see. Over 100 transactions a year. This is one of my students, Anita. Let's see who else we got up here. Okay, here's the how to register for the live event. Once again, it's live. We are going to record it. So after the event, you get a copy of the recording. If you're late, right, you'll get a recording. If you don't show up at all, you'll get a recording. You have to leave early, you get a recording, right? You can download it to your computer, keep it forever, go back and listen to it if you have questions later on. Limited to 47 attendees, 2 hours of live step-by-step instruction, 30 days of email support. I'm going to show you exactly how to get your NAID, how to get registered with HUD Home Store, how to prepare your REO resume, and then notify you when the new contracts are awarded for your area. Looks like we got a couple more testimonials. These are some of my past students, recent past students that are participated in the training. The last training I did was beginning of 2014, so I have been extremely busy and unable. In fact, this could be my last training for 2015, starting the new business in Arizona. I may not be available for any more of these trainings after this one. So if you'd like to register, go to GetHUDREOToday.com. It's a link we have set up specifically for this training. Once all 47 spots are taken, this will come down, right? So if you go to GetHUDREOToday.com and you see the registration page, you know there's still a spot available for you. GetHUDREOToday.com. As soon as you fill out the application online, complete payment, you will receive the link to participate in the live training. It'll also be emailed to you the same day, a confirmation email. You'll get an email the day before the live training, and you'll get an email an hour before the live training. Plus, you will have my email address should you have any questions about your application, participating in the webinar. And then once again, immediately after the webinar, I'll send out all the resource documents, my resume, the marketing plan, template, a list of all the HUD asset management companies, everything promised during the during the webinar, you'll get the same day via email. And there's only 47 participants, so it's, once again, I know there's probably some folks on here that have participated in web-based trainings or even live trainings before and didn't feel the training was worth what they paid. I don't ever want that to be the case, so I give 100% money-back guarantee. You have 99 days. So participate in the training, use all the materials, decide that it wasn't worth the price you paid. You just send me an email, put the money right back in your account. Absolutely no risk. So registration is now open. It's limited to 47 attendees. It's one payment of $97. GetHUDREOToday.com. I'm sure there's a bunch of questions. Perhaps William can help me out while we're waiting for William. My favorite quote: some people make things happen, some people watch things happen, and then there are those who wonder, what the hell just happened? I want you to think about that for a second. In 2010, when HUD hired thousands of agents all across the United States to list and sell their REO properties, there were a whole lot of people standing around going, what the hell just happened? I didn't know about this. Why didn't I get a chance to apply? And then they found out that they were out for 5 years because they were 5-year contracts. Well, it didn't work out that way. They were only out for 3 years. New contracts are coming. You have your opportunity. Don't be one of the ones that says, what the hell just happened?
I wanted to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions at all, please type them in the question box. Go to GetHUDREOToday.com to align yourself with Frank and be lucky enough to be one of the lucky agents to receive HUD REO listings. The way this is going to work, we limited this to 47 participants, and the reason that we did that is because we wanted to keep this for the action takers. This is designed for someone like you who is serious about taking your business to the next level. The cost is one smart payment of $97. And like I said, the reason why we limited it to 47 people is because this is designed for the action takers. So go to GetHUDREOToday.com to take action. I have a lot of questions coming in here, and I want to make sure that we get a chance to answer every single person's question. So the first question that I have here is coming from Gene. The first one says, this one's coming from Ricky Stanley. He says, can a part-time realtor participate in and be a HUD REO listing agent? Good question, Ricky.
Well, there's no requirement or number of hours required, but it would be up to the asset management company. And since we don't know who the asset management companies are going to be yet, you know, I can't give any guarantee on that. I would say you probably wouldn't want to tell anyone that you're part-time, even an individual that you're applying to sell their house. They don't need you 40 hours a week to sell one property, so it may be something you'd want to leave off your resume and out of your listing presentation, no matter who you're trying to get listings from.
I like it. And the next question that I have here is coming from Michelle Sin. She says, is it true that once a house is assigned, you get 24 hours to take pics and fill out the reports, etc.?
That depends. Once again, that depends on the asset management company. There is one asset management company right now that I'm aware of that does require the agents to hustle. I mean, you get the new assignment, you have 24 hours to go take a picture of it and fill out a little questionnaire online. But I mean, come on, who's on this call? If I called you and said, "Hey, I've got a property for you to list. It's it's $300,000. You're going to get 3% commission. You don't have to spend any money on it. I just need you to go over there and take some pictures in the next 24 hours and upload them to my website." Who wouldn't take that?
I got it. I wanted to congratulate a few people. I wanted to congratulate Klaus Sin. Congrats on taking action. I also wanted to congratulate Eddie. Congratulations on taking action. Guys, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com to take action. The next question that I have here is coming from Vita. Vita is saying, Frank, what date is the training?
The 30th. January 30th.
So it's this Friday, the 30th.
Coming Friday, a week from today. Yeah, some folks may be listening because we're going to record this in case somebody missed part of the webinar, had to leave early. We're going to make the recording available. So January 30th it's next Friday if you're listening live. January 30th.
Got it.
If you have a conflict and you really want to take the class, so let's say you already have a conflict. You're getting surgery next Friday, but you really want to take this class. Go ahead and sign up. You'll get the recording immediately after. You'll get all of the resources immediately after. I may not be able to do this training again in 2015. I've got so much stuff going on with getting the broker's license in Arizona. And the reason I said surgery is I already had one surgery on my knee, and I'm getting ready to have surgery on both shoulders. So it's going to be a busy year for me. And I can't guarantee that I'll be doing this training again. So if you're thinking about it, you're on the fence, it's a 100% guarantee, 99 days, money back. The whole thing's going to be recorded, so if you miss it, you even get the recording. If you're even considering it, if you think it would be nice to get HUD REO listings, go ahead and sign up, lock in your spot now.
And I wanted to congratulate, looks like Anne-Marie, congratulations on taking action. I also wanted to congratulate, it looks like Chris, congrats on taking action, stepping up to the plate, knocking the ball out of the park in your career and your life. I got a really good question here. This one is coming from Stan. Stan says, I've been contacted by individuals that are charging upfront fees to give listings. Are these companies legitimate?
None that I know of, none that I have ever heard of. And I've been doing this for, well, this is my 15th year. In fact, there's a couple companies out there, and I don't want to mention names for fear of being sued, but there are several that are just bona fide scams. If anyone calls you on the phone and says, we'll give you a listing, but you need to join this website first, it's a bona fide scam. If they want money up front, it's a scam.
I like it. Guys, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com to take action before it is too late. We have a slew of orders coming in right now, and we have a bunch of questions. So if you have any questions at all, please type them in the question box, and Frank and myself will get those questions answered for you. You know, it was not my intention today to bring Frank here and introduce him to you so that we could share a bunch of information, and then tomorrow you could go back to doing the same things you were doing the day before. From a very genuine place, it is my heart and soul's desire to see that you get exactly what you came looking for, and not just from your investment in time in this webinar today, but also your investment in the HUD REO listing training. So when you go to GetHUDREOtoday.com and you scroll to the bottom and you take action, it's not like, here you go, you're on your own. Really, that is just the beginning of the relationship. I've known Frank for over 3 years, and Frank is one of those rare individuals that whenever I call him, he always returns my telephone calls. Whenever I send him an email, he always replies back to me. And unfortunately, in this business, that's very few and far between, but that really just comments to the quality of his character. Frank is a genuinely good person, and he cares about the relationships that he builds with people. So if you have any interest at all at getting HUD REO listings, like I know you do, or else you would not be here right now, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com and take action. I wanted to congratulate, it looks like Wade, congratulations on taking action. Also, Sophia Callahan, congrats on taking action. The next question that I have here is coming from this one. I'm going to butcher this last name. It was, I'll say Giselle. She was asking Frank for the ongoing monthly support. You have the option. You get free ongoing monthly support for 30 days, and then if you would like to keep it after the 30-day period, it's $39 a month. That kind of answers that question. So this one is coming from Tamara. Tamara says, I have a resume, an HAID number. Can I get it updated on this training? So if somebody already has a resume and they already have their NAID number, is this something that will be beneficial to them, Frank?
Yes. Yeah. They're still going to get the marketing plan, which may be something they don't have. They'll also get the list of all the current asset management companies, and they'll get notification as soon as the new asset management company is awarded for their area.
I like it. The next question that I have here is coming from Angus. He says, my broker already has an NAID number with HUD. Can I still be a listing agent with a new asset manager?
Yes. Yes. Yep. She just doesn't have to complete one of the steps, right? She's already got one step completed.
Got it. The next question that I have here is coming from Telmo. He says, who is the asset manager for the Atlanta area?
I'd have to look it up. I don't have that committed, but that's one of the things that they're going to get in the training.
The next one is coming from Janine. She says, Frank, does a listing agent have to work with an asset manager to make any repairs to the HUD property before listings?
No, all the repairs. The bank it's an FHA mortgage made by a bank. So let's say it's Bank of America, but it's insured by the FHA. Okay, so the borrower stops making payments. Bank of America forecloses. Once they have the property back and it's vacant, they have to bring it up to a standard level of condition. It's called conveyance conditions. It's like a 6-page checklist. So the lender that originated the mortgage has to repair the property to that standard of condition. Then once it's in conveyance condition, they transfer it to HUD, and then HUD gives it to you. So it's already at the level of repair necessary to get an FHA mortgage. And the appraisal is done before you ever get it, and it's listed for the appraised value. Whoever buys the property doesn't have to get a new appraisal. They use the one that's already done, so they don't have to pay for it. So they know they're getting a good deal.
I like it. Guys, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com to take action while you still have a chance. The spots are filling up fast. The next question that I have here is coming from Carolyn. It says, if we do not accept offers for additional she says, if we do not, she's asking about, okay, so Carolyn went to GetHUDREOtoday.com. She scrolled to the bottom of the page. She took action. I think the question that she has is asking in relation to the additional support training. With the additional support, you get 30 days of additional support, and if you decide that for free, and if you decide that you need more support after that, it's $39 a month. So typically what we see is a lot of our friends decide to stay in past the 30 days, but the reason that is because they're already getting listings. So Carolyn, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com to take action. If you guys have any questions at all, please type them in the question box, and I will work on getting those questions answered for you. The next question that I have here is coming from, it looks like, let me congratulate a few people first. I wanted to congratulate Jan Deckard, congratulations. I also want to congratulate Preston Gilmore. Congratulations, Preston. David Bergstadt, congratulations, guys. The spots are filling up fast. If you have any questions at all, type them in the question box. You can go to GetHUDREOtoday.com to take action. Here's a good one. This one's coming from my good friend Faye Schaefer. She says, Frank, can a broker who is independent and is 76 years old be able to get hired? Good question, Faye.
Sure. Yeah, there's nowhere on the application where they ask your age, right? So if you're young enough to have a real estate license, you're young enough to do the work.
I like it. The next question that I have here is coming from Debbie Feltmore. She said, this is a good one actually, she said, in relation to HUD REOs, are you required to do BPOs?
Well, HUD does not require a BPO because HUD already has a property inspection done by a HUD property inspector. They bring the property to conveyance condition before they ever take it back, and they do an appraisal. So there's really no reason for a BPO. I have heard of one asset management company out there that requires the agents to fill out a form that's similar to a BPO on every new listing they take, but it's primarily just to make sure the agent knows what they're selling. It doesn't have anything to do with evaluating the property. Conversely, a traditional REO listing like Fannie Mae gets the property, gives it to the agent. The agent does a BPO on it. They send out a BPO order to another agent who's not going to get the listing. They get both BPOs back. They look at both BPOs, and then they determine what to price the house at. Completely different with HUD. HUD does a property inspection. HUD does an appraisal. HUD gives the listing to you. You list it for the appraised amount. BPO is not necessary at all.
Perfect. Guys, I wanted to congratulate a few people if I could. I wanted to congratulate Roger Garing. Congratulations on taking action. Congrats, Anne Marie Hannon. Congratulations on taking action. And guys, you know, the reason it is when you see the same agent on all the signs when you drive around your area as far as who is in control of the inventory, the REO inventory, the HUD REO inventory, is because when an asset manager, you know, gets in contact with Frank and he has 20 listings to give him, he knows that Frank is going to get the job done. You know, like the example that Frank gave earlier with one of his students that received an $820,000 HUD REO listing and got a commission check for $25,000. You have to learn how to treat those relationships. Those relationships can be extremely profitable. And I'm sure you can imagine what it would feel like to deposit a $25,000 check in the bank. I say that bringing money into the house is like winning the Nobel Peace Prize. It's amazing how many arguments or disagreements can be settled with a $25,000 check. So guys, the opportunity presents itself. Go to GetHUDREOToday.com right now to take action and align yourself with Frank. I got a lot of great questions, so we're just going to keep blazing through them. This one is coming from my good friend Tamara. She says, I'm ready to start. Got my resume, my NAID number, marketing plan, just needed an updated list. Frank, will this work for me?
Yes. Yep, the list will be distributed immediately following the webinar.
Got it. The next question that I have here is coming from Lonnie Moore. She says, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and would like to she said, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, where you are moving. Would this disqualify me from your program? Lonnie, good question.
Oh, no. My office in Missouri is my main source of income. I have a vacation house on the far east side out past Apache Junction, and I'm looking forward to retiring someday, so I thought I'd go ahead and get my broker's license here and basically just use all the techniques that I'm teaching to start a little business here. I'm looking for 1 or 2 properties a month. Phoenix is a area of over 6 million people. I'd say there's probably room for 30 or 40 new HUD REO listing agents in an area that size.
I like it, and I want to congratulate Ellen Loggins. Congratulations on taking action. Also, Larry Daniels. Guys, the spots are filling up fast. Go to GetHUDREOToday.com to take action and invest in yourself. And you know, myself personally, I can probably attribute 80 to 90% of any success that I've had in my business through networking and masterminding with people that are either in the place that I want to go or at least heading in that direction. And in this scenario, Frank is that person. Throughout his career, he has sold in excess of 2,000 REO properties. He has, and when this webinar is over, he goes right back to his real estate business. He lives and he breathes this stuff. And from the amount of personal attention that is required from Frank in order to put on this boot camp, I honestly don't even know why he does it, especially for the price. But that really, again, just comments to the quality of his character. He really cares about the relationships that he builds with people. So, guys, go to GetHUDREOToday.com to take action. The next question that I have here is coming from Carolyn Kolba. Carolyn said, I've sold a number of HUD properties but have never been allowed to talk to the asset manager, nor did I even know I was allowed to. Frank, how do you feel about that?
Well, it's a relatively new process where the buyer's agents upload their offer on HUDHomestore.com, and then all of the listing agent is taken out of the process, right? So they are copied on everything, but they're taken out of the process. This means all of the communication moving forward goes to the asset manager. So you'll have access to the asset manager all the way through escrow.
I like it. The next question that I have here, and I wanted to congratulate, looks like Mick Marino. Congratulations on taking action. The next question that I have here is coming from Stan. Stan says, how are banks handling foreclosed properties that have mold, which was created when they turned off the electricity, which cut off the sump pumps? So have you been noted? What's the situation with mold and HUD REOs, Frank?
Well, unfortunately, I've dealt with a lot of mold, as a broker for other asset management companies and banks. But my brother has a business in Missouri. He does property preservation and repairs, and he does a lot of mold removal. But typically, what they do is they just rip all of the drywall out, all the insulation out. They treat the mold with a moldicide, and then they seal the area, and then they sell the property like that. They don't cover it up. They disclose it, and they sell it exactly the way it is. They don't run any tests because there's the whole mold thing is pretty controversial. There are thousands of strains of mold. Most of them are not harmful. It's up to the buyer to get their own tests. So they leave the walls ripped open, the insulation out of it. You can see where it's been cleaned and treated, and they sell the property just like that. So they're not ever accused of trying to hide anything. But I have to say, as a broker selling over 100 properties a year, I might get 1 or 2 a year that have been affected like that. It's a very, very small percentage of properties. And Missouri, high humidity, basements, sump pumps, flooding. I mean, we're used to it. It's just like regular real estate.
I like it. I want to congratulate Donald Bateau. Congratulations on taking action. Also, George Hope, congrats on taking action. It looks like Jeremy, congratulations on taking action. Guys, go to GetHUDREOToday.com to align yourself with Frank and start getting HUD REO listings in your business in 2015. Guys, we are coming out of one of the worst real estate markets in the history of the United States. Now is the time to step up to the plate. Align yourself with the opportunities and the possibilities of creating a HUD REO aspect to your business. They are some of the most lucrative listings you can ever get because it is a relationship that is extremely profitable, not just today, not just tomorrow, but Frank has been in the REO business for over 15 years, and some of those clients that he has are extremely lucrative. I got a good question here. This one's coming from Marguerite Edwards. She says, I work with HomeSmart. I use my own signs and just add the HUD signature underneath it. So my friend Marguerite's probably trying to figure out, she wants to do HUD REO listings, and she is wondering how that works as far as the yard signage is concerned, Frank.
Well, there's no concern with the sign. It's just whatever you use the same sign that you would use on a residential listing for any other client that you have. Makes absolutely no difference. They want a sign.
And Tamara is asking a good question. She says, I put my home zip code. She says, can I put my home zip to put on application of my home
Yeah.
or off. So what she's trying to figure out is on the application that she fills out, is it her home address, or can you make a comment on people that work out of their homes? Does that work any better for anybody?
Yeah. Well, this is pretty common. So, there are agents out there whose real estate office is 60, 70 miles away from their home, and they prefer to work, in a 15-mile radius of their home. So they would use their home address on their application. They would use their home address on their resume. They would request listings in their home area instead of their office area. If that's where they prefer to work. They get to choose, which of the two addresses you use to be your home base, either your office or your house, doesn't matter.
Yes, and she is also at this one. The next question is coming from Larry. And guys, go to GetHUDREOToday.com to take action, align yourself with Frank to get HUD REO listings. I want to congratulate a few people if I could. I want to congratulate, it looks like Maria Day Walker. Congratulations on taking action. I also want to congratulate Tara. Congrats on taking action, stepping up to the plate. Larry's got an easy question, Frank. He said, what time on what time is the live training?
9 a.m. if you're in California, all right, so Pacific. 10 a.m. For Mountain, so if you're in Arizona or Colorado. 11 if you're in the Midwest. 12 noon if you're on the East Coast.
All right. And then Tamara is asking about the guarantee. There is a 100% money-back guarantee for a full 99 days. And in reality, if you came back to us after the 99 days was up and you were just very unhappy, we would give you your money back, because the only thing that we care about are your results. This is about you. And this is about helping you achieve the goals that you set for yourself for 2015 and beyond. All we care about are your results, because in reality, we're in this together. So guys, go to GetHUDREOToday.com while you still have a chance. The next question that I have here is coming from, let's see here. Is coming from, this name is very difficult to pronounce, so I'm not even going to try. But the question is, what is the amount of insurance that is required in order to get HUD REO listings? Is it an additional coverage, or is it just handled in your straight E&O coverage from your broker? What's the insurance situation?
Well, HUD doesn't have a specification. Each individual asset management company has their own specifications, but typically it's just the standard errors and omissions, 1 million per occurrence, 2 million aggregate. It's just, and they want to see general liability insurance coverage for the business. There are a few asset management companies that also want to see the agent's automobile insurance policies. They want to make sure that you actually have insurance on your car. That's rare. It's just standard insurance, same thing any other asset management company or any smart seller would want to see. They want to see that your company has insurance.
I got it. So maybe you can help me out. All my friends that have gone through the process, my friends went to GetHUDREOToday.com. They signed up. They took action. Kind of what happens next? Can you walk them through the process, Frank?
Yes. You should immediately be redirected to register for the webinar training, which is next week, January the 30th on Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 Mountain, 11 Central, 12 noon Eastern. If you did not, don't panic. You will also receive an automated email, so it's generated immediately, which will go to the email that you listed on your order. That also has the link to complete your webinar registration, and then you'll get that link sent to you 3 or 4 more times between now and next Friday. You only have to fill the link out once. It asks for your first name, last name, email address, then you'll receive access to the webinar. The webinar will be an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on how many questions we have. And then at the conclusion of the webinar training next week, all of the documents discussed during the webinar will be sent out to all the participants. They'll all have my email address. Should they have any questions, 30 days of free email support. If they wish to continue email support and coaching, so they have access to me to help them grow their business, once again, it's $39 a month.
I like it, and I got some good questions coming in right now, guys. If you have any questions at all, please type them in the question box, and Frank and myself will help you get those questions answered. Before this webinar started, I actually physically tackled Frank, and I chained his leg to the desk, and I said, Frank, we're not leaving until we answer every single one of my friends' questions, because this webinar right now, this webinar is about you. And if you walk away with nothing from this webinar, walk away with this: I believe in you. And I believe in what's possible for your career, and I believe in what's possible for your life, and I know you can do it because I've seen other people do it. In the interest of time today, Frank has only showed you a few testimonials, but I've seen the results in advance. What I've seen that you have not are the hundreds of other testimonials of people or agents that were sitting exactly where you're sitting right now that got the results that they were looking for from their business. So guys, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com to take action before it is too late. I got a really good question. This one is coming from Renee Johnson. But before that, I wanted to congratulate a couple of people. I wanted to congratulate Ted Silver. Congrats on taking action. I also wanted to congratulate Deborah Street. Congratulations on taking action. So Renee is asking a question, Frank. She says, once the resume is written and it is submitted, is it submitted before or after the online application?
Most of the asset management companies will announce that they've won the contract. They'll have a web-based form you fill out to be placed in a waiting list. Once they're ready to hire for your area, they'll send out a solicitation to you for you to fill out an online application. It's been our experience that at this time, most of them will want you to upload a copy of your real estate license. They'll want you to give your NAID number, your HUD home store account information, and they'll want to see your resume and your marketing plan. Now, each of these companies is independent. We don't know who they are yet, and so there could be some changes, and that's one of the reasons we offer the ongoing support to all of our students, because, once again, this is there can be some variances, there can be some differences depending upon who wins the contract for your state.
I like it. And guys, I wanted to congratulate a few more people. It looks like Deborah, congratulations. This next question that I have here, and guys, go to GetHUDREOtoday.com before the time runs out and it is too late. The spots will be gone by the time this webinar is over, and basically what's going to happen when the spots are gone and you go to GetHUDREOtoday.com, the link will no longer work. If that happens to you, I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do for you at this point in time. And I see I still do have a few of my friends on the checkout page, so take action while you have a chance. Jane is asking, Frank, is there only one asset management company for the state of California?
Yes, there is one. Only one. In the past, some states have had 2 or 3, but moving forward with the new contracts, every state will have only one.
I got it. And my friend Connie is asking a really good question. She says, I have an NAID number, and I have since closed my office, and I'm working for another broker. So does that mean I need to use theirs or my NAID number?
She'll use the new broker's NAID number. She can no longer use the one associated with her closed office.
And Marguerite says, how do I know if my brokerage allows me to take these listings? They allow us to represent buyers, but I am not sure about listings.
I've never heard of a brokerage that doesn't allow its agents to take listings. So, and I don't think I'd work for one that wouldn't allow me to have listings. So
yeah, it's kind of
ask your broker. Yeah, there's 75% of the business right there. So she just needs to ask her broker if it's okay if she lists properties for sale.
I like it. And I'm getting another question which is similar to the other one in relation to the number of asset management companies per state. So currently, is there just one asset management company per state, or are there multiple in different states?
Some states have more than one. Some states have one. When all of the new contracts are announced, there will only be one. Could be an existing company. It could be a new company. We don't know. But by the time this process is over and every state has its new contract, which presumably is this year, there will only be one asset management company for your state.
I like it. And guys, go to
That's why it's
Get
so
HUD.
important you get it right, right? You got one chance. That's why it's so important that you get this right, because you're going to have one chance.
Guys, go to GetHUDREOToday.com to take action and align yourself with Frank while you still have a chance. This one is coming from Sylvia. She says the errors and omissions insurance can be applied for HUD, or do we need a separate insurance policy?
No, it's the same policy your company already has.
Got it. And I wanted to congratulate, it looks like Klaus Sin, congratulations on taking action. Guys, this webinar is winding down. I see a few of my friends still on the order page, so you want to take action before this webinar is over. Ronald Wurst is saying, will HUD allow you to work countrywide in multiple counties, or do they assign select zip codes for your location?
No, that's the way it used to be, right? Before 2010, it was the good old boys system, and there was one per state, and these guys had the contracts for years and years and years, and it just wasn't, it wasn't fair, and it wasn't working out for HUD. So now these asset management companies are required to hire local agents. So if you live in Blue Springs, Missouri, you're going to get listings in Blue Springs, Missouri. You're not going to get listings in California. That was the old way. That was the old way. It wasn't good. They're trying to make this opportunity available. I mean, these properties, right? HUD is a government entity. These are the taxpayers' properties. They're trying to make this opportunity available and benefit as many agents as possible.
I got it. Judy Thatcher says, my broker is trying to get his NAID number, but is having problems due to starting up his own company and having to get IRS forms. We keep trying to get this done. What is the deadline for AM agent application, or is that what you are waiting on per state or national?
Well, I'm going to show her how to get the NAID number. Okay, there shouldn't be any problem getting an NAID number. It's easy. And there's no deadline because we don't know when the contract will be awarded. All we're told is that basically HUD's made the decision who gets each state. They just haven't announced it yet. So her state could be announced tomorrow. It might be announced in December. We don't know. My goal is to make sure she is ready and she is informed. So she goes ahead and gets everything ready now, and when I send her the email, she's ready to take action. She knows about it. She's not scrambling around then, putting together her resume and getting her name number. All of these things need to get done now, because when the opportunity presents itself, you're going to have a limited amount of time to act.
I got it. And the next question that I have here, guys, if you have any questions, please type them in the question box. This webinar is winding down, coming close to a close. The next question that I have here is coming from Norva. She says, when registering on the HUD Home Store, where within the website should I register? I'm going to recommend everybody to wait until the live HUD REO training with Frank so that he can give you specific instructions on exactly where to register, because it looks like right now we have about 3 minutes left in the presentation, guys. The countdown timer is ticking, and I see I do still have some of my friends on the order page. So go to GetHUDREOToday.com to take action while you still have a chance. And then Carolyn is asking, Frank, how will I know when to apply?
Carolyn will receive an email from me to let her know that the contract's been awarded.
Got it. And then Lisa Wyatt is asking about California asset management companies, and she wants to know if you have a way to still get in with the companies in California.
I have a list of all of them. So yeah, yes.
All right, Frank. And what would you like to say to my friends here in closing?
Well, once again, this is one of those opportunities that only comes around every few years. In the HUD case, it comes around every 5 years. And if you're going to be in the real estate business for the next 5 years, I don't see any reason why you would not want to take a chance at getting HUD REO listings. I mean, it could really change your life. I've seen what it has done for some of my coaching members in their business and their personal lives. And if I could pick one customer period, I'd just pick HUD. I wouldn't do business with anyone else. I'd just be a HUD listing agent, and that's it. I can't imagine why somebody wouldn't want to give it a shot.
Great. And I wanted to let everybody know you can go to GetHUDREOToday.com to align yourself with Frank and attend the HUD REO training bootcamp. That includes 2 hours of live step-by-step instruction. That's going to be held next week on Friday. Frank is going to show you how to get your NAID number, how to get registered with HUD Home Store, how to prepare an REO resume, plus you're going to get a copy of his REO resume in a template form. He's going to give you instant notification when the contracts in your area are awarded. But then in addition to that, you will also receive 30 days of email support. So if you're having any trouble with anything after the presentation, Frank will be able to help you via email. And then in addition to that, you're going to get the presentation recorded and emailed to you. So for whatever reason you're on vacation, you miss it next Friday, you're going to get the presentation as well as homework assignments emailed to you. And you have the opportunity to receive ongoing monthly support, which is free for 30 days. And if you decide that you need more help after that, it's only $39 a month. So I strongly encourage you guys, go to GetHUDREOToday.com. It looks like we have 1 minute on the clock. So I wanted to let everyone know how much it means to have you be a member of my community. I hold my relationship with you in a very special place, and it means a tremendous amount to me to have you come and spend your time with us. So with that, I'm going to say go out, conquer the day, be bold, make things happen, take action.